Drip irrigation is supposed to save you time and money, but after 8 years of professional market gardening and testing everything from drip lines and wobblers to overhead and Netafim sprinklers, I've learned the hard way that that's not always true. Drip lines get clogged, get holes, caps blow off, and the worst part is you don't even know there's a problem until your crops start to suffer.
And I was like, oh man.
So what do? You walk every single row while the water's running, hunting for leaks and dry spots just to make sure everything's working. And that's not efficiency, that's wasted time. That's when I came across a system I'd never heard of. It's not drip, it's not overhead, and it completely changed how I water my crops. It's faster to install, easier to manage, and requires less maintenance, and it actually does save time and money. Yo, 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 what up, Gromies? Welcome back to Chef's Harvest Farm. If you're new here, I'm Chef Mikey. I'm a former executive chef turned urban farmer. Now don't get me wrong, drip irrigation does have its place. It delivers water directly to the base of the plant, reduces foliar disease, and technically it saves water compared to overhead. And that's why I still run drip in my high tunnels for crops like cherry tomatoes and cucumbers. But here's the thing, I'm not farming in the desert. I live in Tennessee. We get plenty of rain, and I'm not paying a fortune for water. What I am paying for is labor, and that costs me way more than water ever will. I could save a few bucks on water, but I'd lose way more than that in labor costs. And honestly, even if labor were free, we've got better things to be doing than spending hours pulling up, cleaning out, and reinstalling drip tape several times a week. Because whether it's field grown or tunnel grown, the time I've wasted on drip lines just isn't worth it anymore. And then there's the cost. Every T, elbow, end cap, and connector adds up. 2, 3, sometimes $4 each. And depending on your system, you might need hundreds or even thousands just to get started. Alright, so what's this new irrigation system I'm talking about? It's called the Sumi Soaker, and it's made by Modern Grower. And honestly, it's completely changed how I irrigate my field blocks. It's like a cross between drip and overhead, but without any of the downsides. In the rest of this video, I'll show you exactly how I set it up, how it works, and why I think this is the smartest irrigation tool for small farms like mine. Use code CHEFSHARVEST for 10% off your order at moderngrower.com. And a huge thanks to Diego, the Paper Pot Co., and Modern Grower for sponsoring this video. This is the Sumi Soaker made by Modern Grower. So it's like a lay flat hose, so it lays flat. Just like put it down the walkways, right? And it's got little holes in it, and then it just sprays like a perfect mist, 15 feet on each side in a perfect rectangular pattern, so no water sprays back here or way up there or anything, just sprays out to the sides and directly up. So I just got done paper pot transplanting these 2 beds of salad greens. My next step, I'm gonna put 50% shade cloth over it, so I'll show you that. You know, in the past, I would like pull the drip lines back in here, which is a pain in the butt, because the drip lines aren't gonna establish these new transplants. So then I'd come out here with a hose and immediately just hand water the beds every day for at least like 1 to 2 weeks just to get the plants to establish, because I'm growing lettuce out of season. It's the middle of summer. I mean, it's like I'm in the south, it gets 90 degrees every day, and it's very hard to grow lettuce. So the methods I use are like, when I transplant, I leave the shade cloth on for 2 weeks to let it get established, and then I take the shade cloth off for 2 weeks, and that really helps the lettuce heads fill out. Then with this misting system, I can just mist them in the heat of the day, and that really helps the plants not get stressed out and wilty, so that they don't get as bitter. And then I don't have to hand water, I don't have to irrigate. It's all set up on timers. I'll show you the timers that I've got. So I've got one of them set up right here already, and I'll show you how that goes off. And then I got this one I'm going to install on the other side of the garden, so I'll show you how we set these things up. It's super easy. It's way easier than setting up any irrigation system that I've ever set up before. Okay, so I flushed my line out, and so I'm just going to plug this T on it. Then the T will go into the Sumi Soaker, and then it's got this so I can flush the line out anytime I want to. And then I'm gonna plug this T right like this, okay? And so this is gonna come right off my main line here and just plug right into my T, and then the Sumi Soaker will go right here. It's still the easiest irrigation system you'll ever set up in your life. So this is a hose connector, and I ordered all these parts from Drip Depot. So these are the only extra parts I had to order. Everything else comes with it. So these are just adapters so that I can plug it into the 3/4 inch tubing that I use for my main line. The system's kind of designed for like a 1 inch pipe, and I use 3/4 inch, but there's all these adapters. You can everybody's setup is going to be different, you know. Some people use 1 inch main line, 2 inch main line. If you're a bigger farm, you'll just have to purchase the correct adapters. So what I'm doing today is setting it up on 3/4 inch main line poly tubing that I ordered from Drip Depot. I'll leave the links for all these in the description so you can order them if you need to. I did order the 30 psi pressure reducer from Drip Depot also, which is a requirement. So this is a male pipe thread to male hose thread adapter. I don't know if you can see the difference, but they're both 3/4 inch threads, but the hose thread is much wider spaced than the pipe thread. So this connection is the adapter that they send you. And so this is where the Sumi Soaker plugs into this, just like a typical Permalock fitting. And then it's got outside thread or inside thread for like a 1 inch or 2 inch pipe, whatever you needed. So it's threaded on the inside. So this is a 3/4 inch pipe thread adapter, or it's a 1 inch pipe thread adapter. And they do send you this, and this just screws on in here. And then it's got another thread here, which is pipe thread. So I'm gonna screw this one into here, which then gives me a hose thread fitting right here. Now I have a Permalock to hose thread fitting, so this will just be my Permalock into my mainline tubing, and this will screw on here. And then this is how it all connects to the Sumi Soaker. But this fitting has a gasket in it, so that's gonna be a watertight seal, but none of this has gaskets, so I'm gonna hit all this with pipe tape, plumber's tape, so that we get a watertight seal so it doesn't leak. Okay, so then that's my pipe fitting. Okay, and then so this is my whole like adapter piece. So this will just plug into my Permalock fitting. The Sumi Soaker plugs onto that, and that's it, dude. I'm gonna unroll this thing. It's faster than, I mean, it's the equivalent of 3, 6, 9, 8. It's the equivalent of me installing 18 individual drip lines, and instead I just install this one thing, and then I can actually roll it up, dude. Like, you know, once you unroll drip lines, like there's no putting them back in a roll or anything like that. I mean, this thing, you can just roll it back up, take it to my other farm. I can store them for winter, whatever you want, just roll it back up like this. That is impossible with drip lines if you've ever tried to do that. So yeah, let's roll this out. We'll put the stopper on the other end, plug this in, and see how this thing rolls. Let's do it. Check this out. Okay, so the end piece was like definitely a little bit tricky the first time I did this. It comes with like this clip, right? And then this thing just kind of pops off like this, right? Okay, I don't know if you can see how that goes. So you see this, basically loop that in, and then this little stick sticks in there so it can't pull it all the way through. And then you clip that back down. Okay, you see? And that just keeps the water from coming out the end. And it folds over like that. And then I just take a landscape pin and I stick that right here. So like, unlike a drip tape, this thing don't blow around in the wind or nothing, dude. It's pinned in perfectly flat in my walkway. I mean, I can just walk on that if I want to. It's not in the beds. It never has to be removed ever, right? Like drip lines, I gotta take them out, do my bed prep, and then if I do want to remove this, I can just roll it back up like it came. And this eliminates like all the labor. right? I mean, this took me 5 minutes to set up. I've got it all hooked up to my phone, and I did a video about like the timers that I use to automate the irrigation, so I'll leave a link to that video below if you want to check out like how I have all this automated from my phone. I don't have to ever do anything. Everything just goes off automatically. If I want to water something, I just press a few buttons on my phone. We'll just do a 5-minute timer since we're just testing it. So I set up this Sumi Soaker over here a long time ago, and then we set up this one a couple days ago. They're both set up on the same line, so when the timer goes off, it runs both of them at once. I installed the pressure reducer on the timer, so they require a 30 psi pressure reducer so that the lines don't blow. I've got 2 of the 30 psi pressure reducers, so I can just install it right where the Sumi Soaker connects, so it'll have full water pressure going through the line, and then the pressure will only be reduced going into the Sumi Soaker. I'm gonna test it again, see how we're looking, and if I'm not happy with it, then I'm just gonna switch out the pressure reducers, check it again. My suspicion is that we're gonna be good if I do that, and then worst case scenario, I got an open line over there on the timer, then I just gotta run a new line to this one. They'll each have to go off separately. I just like the idea of they go off at once to simplify the irrigation timer operations and leave me a line open over there. So yeah, let's check these things out, see how they look. It takes a minute to fill up with the water pressure. When I only had the one set up, it was blowing like 10 feet up in the air and like, you know, 20 feet on each side. And then you can see it builds up and then it starts spraying pretty good. I think this works anyways. Like I think I'm solid. Like if I harvest this lettuce this week, plant arugula there, and if the arugula needs more water than that, then I can move this line over. But I'm excited, dude. This is awesome. So we no longer have to remove drip lines every time we flip a bed and put them back. I don't have to worry about holes in the drip lines, leaks. Like, dude, so many of my drip lines over here have like leaks right now. If you guys want to check them out, check the links in the description. It's an affiliate link, 10% discount for you also if you want to check these out. But dude, they're only like 70 bucks each, so for $140 I can irrigate this whole field. Check it out. I hope this video is helpful. I really appreciate you guys being here. We just got all the root crops harvested over at the other farm. Make sure you're subscribed. They got a ton of cool stuff coming up soon, and I really appreciate you guys. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, y'all. Peace.